We have all made the mistake of selling a motorcycle we instantly regretted losing. That gnawing feeling, watching it ride away in someone else's trailer. Today, we are flipping that script. These are the keep forever machines. The motorcycles riders buy and never sell. Passed down to kids, hidden in garages, ridden until the odometer physically breaks. We are talking police-grade reliability, irreplaceable character, and engineering that factories flatly refuse to build anymore. Today, we count down the 20 motorcycles you buy once and keep for life. And number 1, owners would sooner sell the house. Let us begin. Kicking off at number 20, Honda ST1300, 2003 to 2012. The ST1300 is the motorcycle equivalent of a long-haul flight crew. Quiet, efficient, impossible to rattle, and designed to cover the maximum possible distance with the minimum possible drama. 1,261 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled longitudinal V4. The massive integrated tip-over wings hidden in the lower fairing are the part pointer. Honda engineered crash protection directly into the bodywork because touring riders inevitably drop heavy bikes in car parks after long days. A 7.7-gallon fuel tank delivers over 300 miles between fill-ups. The longitudinal V4 runs so smoothly it borders on electric. No vibration through the bars, no drama through sweepers, just pure ground consumption. Owners keep them because the engine is indestructible, and no competing machine delivers this level of effortless long-distance performance at this price. $3,500 to $6,500. For the touring fanatic who values turbine smoothness over sheer size, the ST1300 never leaves. Honda's official service data on the longitudinal V4 shows virtually 0 internal engine failures across the entire production run, a record that speaks for itself. The ST1300 community is unusually quiet compared to most motorcycle communities because members are not spending their weekends wrenching. They are riding. The ST1300 earns its keep forever status by being utterly impossible to exhaust. It just keeps going, smoothly, reliably, without complaint. The machine coming up earned the same status by going places the ST1300 would sensibly refuse. Moving up to number 19, KTM 990 Adventure, 2006 to 2013. The 990 Adventure is widely considered the last pure KTM ADV, the final generation before ride-by-wire and electronic management diluted the LC8 engine's ferocious character into something more manageable and less memorable. 999 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled 75-degree V-twin. The twin side-mounted fuel tanks are the part pointer, drawing fuel low around the engine, keeping the center of gravity incredibly low on a machine that would otherwise be unwieldy in the dirt. It handles like a 450cc enduro in technical terrain. This is not a compliment often paid to a leader-class adventure bike. It shares mechanical DNA with actual Dakar winners. Owners refuse to sell because modern adventure bikes feel tame by comparison, not subjectively, but in the specific way that raw throttle response and uncorrupted suspension feedback communicate to a skilled rider. $6,000 to $9,500. For the aggressive ADV rider who wants genuine Dakar character on a budget, this is the machine. The specific quality the 990's fans describe is feedback, the way a skilled rider can read the terrain through the chassis, and suspension without electronics interpreting those signals first. When the electronics do the interpreting, they smooth out information you might want. The 990 gives you the unedited version. The 990 gives you the unedited version of what a leader-class adventure bike feels like. And once you have had the unedited version, the edited one never quite satisfies. But the machine coming up took a completely different approach to earning loyalty, hiding a sport bike chassis under cruiser bodywork and waiting for owners to discover what they actually bought. Arriving at number 18, Yamaha Roadliner and Stratoliner, 2006 to 2014. Yamaha ignored the Harley-Davidson design philosophy and built a large displacement cruiser from scratch using sport bike engineering principles. The result is a 750-pound machine that has no business cornering as confidently as it does. 1,854 cubic centimeters, 113 cubic inch, air-cooled 48-degree V-twin. The twin-spar aluminum frame is the part pointer, lightweight and rigid, the kind of chassis used on sport bikes, hidden under vintage Art Deco cruiser bodywork. The contradiction between the old-school aesthetic and the modern chassis engineering is the entire appeal. The engine delivers massive, unhurried, effortless torque. Once you know what the Stratoliner actually is, no rival cruiser satisfies in the same way. Owners keep them because it offers the visual presence of a heavyweight American cruiser with a cornering confidence of something considerably lighter, $5,000 to $9,000. For the cruiser rider frustrated by the handling limitations of traditional heavyweights, the Stratoliner resolves that permanently. Stratoliner owners are notably evangelical about their machines. Part of this is the genuine surprise of the handling. Riders who expect a lumbering heavyweight and discover something that corners with confidence become committed advocates. The combination of genuine American cruiser visual presence with Japanese engineering precision is specific to this platform, and nothing currently replicates it. The Stratoliner fools you with the styling and then surprises you with the handling. The machine just ahead does not bother with any of that. It walks in, puts 2,294 cubic centimeters on the table, and asks if anyone has questions. Subscribe right now if this list is already making you reconsider something sitting in your garage. Every week we cover the machines owners refuse to let go of. Do not miss it. Roaring into number 17, Triumph Rocket. 3 Roadster, 2010 to 2018. The Triumph Rocket. 3 is not a motorcycle. It is an engine with a seat attached. 2002, 194 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled inline triple, the largest displacement engine ever fitted to a production motorcycle. The massive, longitudinally mounted engine block is the part pointer. 3 pistons arranged fore to aft, generating gyroscopic torque reactions that physically twist the chassis when you blip the throttle at a standstill. This is not a handling flaw. It is a character trait. 163 pound-feet of torque, more than most conventional cars, delivered to 2 wheels. Owners never sell because once you have ridden a 2.3-liter motorcycle, everything else feels slow, not subjectively, but measurably, in the way you experience physics at a stoplight. $7,500 to $12,000. For the power cruiser enthusiast who wants to win every drag race without leaving a second gear, nothing else competes. The Rocket 3 also has a practical quality that its theatrical reputation obscures. It is an excellent long-distance machine. The massive displacement engine barely works at motorway cruising speeds, producing its power at such a low RPM that the mechanical stress is minimal. Rocket 3 owners regularly log very high miles, precisely because the machine cruises effortlessly at any legal motorway speed. The Rocket 3 wins by being more engine than any reasonable person needs. The machine just ahead wins by being exactly the right amount of motorcycle, no more, no less, and looking so good doing it that owners spend 30 years finding reasons to keep it. Arriving at number 12, Moto Guzzi Griso 1208V, 2007 to 2016. The Griso is the machine you keep not because it is reliable, not because it is practical, but because it has soul in a quantity that no amount of specification can replicate. 1,151 cubic centimeters air and oil cooled transverse V-twin. The Kark single-sided swing arm is the part pointer, eliminating shaft jack under acceleration while exposing the rear wheel in a way that makes the Griso look like Italian industrial sculpture rather than a standard naked. The transverse V-twin shakes the machine at idle in a way that feels deliberate, not a flaw to be engineered away, but a personality trait. Under throttle, it roars with a specific character that owners describe as intoxicating, a description that sounds excessive until you experience it. $6,000 to $9,500. $100, exceedingly rare. When a Griso lists, it sells immediately. For the enthusiast who values character and massive low-end torque over clinical performance numbers, nothing else makes the case like the Griso. The specific experience the Griso delivers is not available elsewhere at any price. The combination of transverse V-twin torque reactions, shaft drive, upright ergonomics, and that specific engine note is unique to Moto Guzzi in general and the Griso in particular. This is a machine where the ownership experience is distinct from every other naked bike on the market, which is the primary reason Griso owners hold on to theirs with such determination. The Griso is a machine for people who know exactly what they want and are willing to pay for it. The machine just ahead is for everyone else and somehow manages to be so useful, so capable, and so quietly impressive that its owners end up just as devoted. Hit that like button right now. We are in the top 10, and every machine from here is a keep forever decision that thousands of owners have already made. One tap helps push this toward every rider sitting on a purchase decision. Sweeping into number 11, Suzuki V-Strom 650 V-Strom 2004 to present. The V-Strom is not the fastest, not the best looking, and not the best at any individual task. It is the best motorcycle for someone who only has room for one machine that has to do everything. 645 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled 90-degree V-twin from the SV650 program. The upright windscreen and fairing assembly is the part pointer, touring-level wind protection on a middleweight chassis, the combination that makes this machine comfortable at motorway speed and manageable in city traffic. The engine routinely clears 100,000 miles, excellent fuel economy, capable on light off-road, deep accessories market, enormous community knowledge base. Owners keep the V-Strom because when they try to identify what single machine replaces it, they cannot find one. $3,000 to $6,500. For the pragmatic rider who wants a machine that does everything well and lasts for decades, the V-Strom keeps confirming itself as the answer. The V-Strom community has documented ownership experiences that no other middleweight machine consistently produces. Owners who intended to use it as a commuter and found themselves planning international trips. The machine's progressive capability, revealing more usefulness the more the owner asks of it, creates a keep forever dynamic where the owner's ambitions grow and the machine keeps pace. No upgrade seems necessary because the upgrade keeps happening within the machine they already have. The V-Strom keeps proving itself useful until owners run out of excuses to replace it. The machine coming up gets kept because owners look at 300,000-mile odometer readings on original engines and decide that selling it would be an act of genuine disrespect. Cresting the top 10 at number 10, Honda Goldwing GL1800 Gen 1, 2001 to 2017. There is an entire sub-community of Goldwing owners dedicated to documenting odometer readings above 300,000 miles on original engines and not rebuilt, not replaced. Original. This is the Keep Forever credential, and it is exceptional. 1,832 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled flat 6. The twin aluminum spar frame is the part pointer. Significant weight reduction from the previous generation that makes this 900-pound machine handle with a composure that surprises every rider who expects something unwieldy. The flat 6 runs with turbine smoothness at any speed. No other touring machine offers this level of reliability combined with this level of passenger comfort. Audio system, cruise control, storage, all executed at a level no competitor has surpassed. $5,000 to $14,000. Mostly sold by riders retiring from motorcycling rather than switching machines. For the ultimate two-up traveler who measures road trips in weeks, the GL1800 is the benchmark that everything else is measured against. The 300,000-mile Goldwing community deserves specific mention because it represents something unique in motorcycling. Documented, repeatable, extreme mileage reliability from a machine that was not designed as a commercial or industrial vehicle. The GL1800 was designed for retired professionals touring for pleasure. The fact that it achieves these mileage figures in that use case, not under controlled conditions, not with commercial maintenance schedules, is a remarkable engineering achievement. The Goldwing is what happens when Honda decides to build the best touring motorcycle they possibly can and then refuses to cut corners anywhere. The machine coming up is what happens when Kawasaki fits a hypercar engine into a shaft drive tourer and discovers that law enforcement agencies find this useful for chasing things. Stepping up to number 16, Triumph Bonneville T100 air-cooled, 2002 to 2016. Triumph figured out how to bottle 1960s British nostalgia without including the 1960s oil leaks. The T100 has been a permanent fixture of cafe culture for over 2 decades, and it has never looked dated. 865 cubic centimeters air-cooled parallel twin, the cleverly disguised fuel injection. Throttle bodies on post-2008 models are the part pointer, styled to look like carburetors while delivering cold starting reliability and smooth throttle response. The vintage aesthetic is preserved. The vintage frustrations are not. The 360-degree crank produces a rhythmic exhaust note that the water-cooled successors have never fully replicated. Endlessly customizable cafe racer, scrambler, brat tracker, with a global aftermarket that is enormous. Owners hold them because it is the definitive Sunday morning machine that actually starts every time. $4,500 to $7,000. For the classic enthusiast who wants the Steve McQueen aesthetic without spending weekends fixing electrics, this is it. The global aftermarket for the air-cooled Bonneville is so extensive that owners can transform the visual identity of the machine multiple times over the course of ownership. Cafe racer 1 year, scrambler the next, back to stock for a rally. No other modern motorcycle of this era offers the same breadth of conversion options at accessible prices, which is a significant reason the Keep Forever retention rate is so high. The air-cooled Bonneville is the machine you buy because it looks beautiful and keep because it never lets you down on a Sunday morning. The one coming up gets kept for the opposite reason. Nobody would ever call it beautiful, but it has been to places most motorcycles would not survive, and it came back. Pressing on at number 15, Kawasaki KLR650. Gen 1, 1987 to 2007. The KLR650 is heavy, the brakes are mediocre, and the suspension is soft. None of that has stopped soldiers, aid workers, and overlanders from using it to access truly remote parts of the world for 4 decades. 651 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled single. The massive 6.1-gallon fuel tank is the part pointer, delivering over 250 miles of range in places where the next fuel source is uncertain. In the remote areas these machines operate, that range is not a luxury. It is a survival margin. Fix the infamous doohickey, the balancer chain tensioner, and the KLR will run on the worst fuel available, survive being dropped down ravines, and start reliably after months of storage. Owners never sell because a KLR is a badge of experience that signals you have been somewhere most bikes cannot follow. $2,000 to $3,500. For the budget adventurer who wants to ride to South America on limited funds, the KLR is still the first recommendation from anyone who has done it. The KLR650 community has produced a staggering body of knowledge about every failure mode, every modification, every aftermarket improvement, and every remote repair scenario the machine has encountered in 40 years of global operation. When something goes wrong on a KLR in a remote location, the answer is almost certainly documented somewhere in that community database. That institutional knowledge compounds in value every year. The KLR650 gets kept because it has been everywhere and proved itself every time. The machine coming up gets kept because it has been in continuous production since 2000 with virtually no changes. And the reason there have been no changes is that nobody has found anything to improve. Thumping into number 14, Suzuki DR-Z400S 2000 to 2024. The DR-Z400S has been in continuous production since 2000 with no meaningful updates to the core architecture. It keeps selling out because no manufacturer has built anything that replaces it. 398 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled single, the Mikuni BSR 36 carburetor is the part pointer in an era of complex fuel injection. This analog unit can be rebuilt with basic hand tools, tuned for altitude and sourced for parts from a dozen suppliers. The simplicity is not a concession. It is the design intent. Owners keep the DR-Z because it fires every time. Cold morning, 6 months sitting unused, first kick. It handles trails, commuting, and everything between without complaint. The parts ecosystem is so mature that everything is available cheaply. $3,500 to $5,500. Prices refuse to drop because demand is permanent and supply never catches up. For the rider who wants an unkillable street-legal dirt bike, the DR-Z400S has no equal. The dual sport market has developed significantly since 2000, but no manufacturer has produced a street-legal 25-kilometer-plus trail machine with the DR-Z's combination of simplicity, reliability, and low ownership cost. The Yamaha WR250R was the closest competitor, and Yamaha discontinued it. The Honda CRF300L is newer but heavier and less mechanically simple. The DR-Z400S remains the benchmark for the segment it defines. The DR-Z has been on sale for 25 years because the market refuses to let it go. The machine just ahead has been on sale for over 30 years for exactly the same reason, except Honda stopped trying to update it somewhere around 2000 and the owner stopped caring around the same time. Landing at number 13, Honda XR650L, 1993 to present. Honda has not meaningfully changed the XR650L in over 30 years. This is not inertia. This is a manufacturer acknowledging they got it right the first time. 644 cubic centimeters air-cooled single. The dry sump oil tank integrated into the upper frame tubes is the part pointer, storing oil high and away from engine heat and rock strikes, keeping the engine cooler during extended desert running than conventional designs. There is nothing electronic to fail. No sensors, no error codes 300 miles from the nearest dealership. The XR650L starts, runs, and keeps running through conditions that stop more sophisticated machines. Owners keep them as a philosophical statement about what a dual sport should be. Simple, reliable, self-sufficient. $3,500 to $5,500. Finding a clean, unmolested example takes patience. For the adventure rider who wants a tall thumper that handles anything without drama, this is the definitive answer. The XR650 OL's survival record in extreme conditions is not theoretical. Aid organizations, military expeditions, and overland travelers have documented its performance in Central Asia, West Africa, South America, and Alaska with consistent results. It keeps running. The community forums contain decades of field repair reports from locations with no mechanical support infrastructure. Almost every report ends the same way: the XR650L got them home. The XR650L survives because it is honest. It does exactly what it was designed to do without drama or complaint. The machine coming up survives for almost the opposite reason. It is deeply irrational. It shakes at idle. It costs a fortune to buy, and owners keep it because riding it feels like nothing else on the road. Surging into number 9, Kawasaki Concours 14, 2008 to 2022. The Concours 14 is a Kawasaki ZX14 wearing a touring suit. Someone at Kawasaki decided a hypercar engine belonged inside a shaft-drive sport tourer, and the result is one of the most uniquely capable machines ever produced. 1,352 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled inline-4 with variable valve timing. The VVT mechanism is the part pointer, altering camshaft profiles on the fly to deliver touring torque at low revs and screaming top-end power when the owner decides the motorway is a racetrack. Both personalities coexist in the same machine, and the transition between them is immediate. Owners refuse to sell because it crosses the country in complete comfort while closing on modern sport bikes on a highway pole, a combination that does not exist anywhere else. $5,000 to $11,000. Original owners typically ride them to 80,000 miles before selling to someone who rides them to 160,000. For the aggressive long-distance rider who wants a hyperbike heart in a touring body, the Concours is the machine. The VVT system's transition between its two personality modes is the part of the Concours experience that owners describe as addictive. Below a certain RPM threshold, the machine is a composed, comfortable sport tourer. Above it, something different wakes up, and the kind of performance delivery that reminds the rider what engine is actually underneath them. Owners who have tried to find a touring machine that replaces this specific combination inevitably come back. The Concours does the touring thing and the performance thing simultaneously, which is a trick most machines cannot manage even separately. The machine coming up does neither of those things. It does the analog muscle thing, with carburation and retro aesthetics and low-end torque that modern nakeds have traded away, and owners refuse to let go of it for that specific reason. Climbing to number 8, Kawasaki ZRX1200R, 2001 to 2005. The ZRX1200R is Eddie Lawson's 1980s AMA superbike racing legacy translated into a road machine. His livery, his era's aesthetic, and an engine that delivers the kind of low-end torque that modern high-revving nakeds have traded away in pursuit of peak power numbers. 1,164 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled inline-4. The heavily braced aluminum box section swing arm is the part pointer, screaming racing heritage while keeping the massive rear tire planted under hard acceleration. The carbureted inline-4 provides brutal analog acceleration character that fuel injection cannot fully replicate. Riders who have moved to modern machines still describe this specific throttle character with nostalgia years later. Owners keep the ZRX because surging low-end torque and retro muscle aesthetics exist in exactly one machine, and this is it. Extremely low turnover. When someone buys a ZRX, it typically stays for life. $5,500 to $9,500. Finding a clean example is difficult. For the retro muscle fan who wants to leave stoplights in a cloud of smoke while looking like a champion, the ZRX is irreplaceable. The ZR1200R represents the high-water mark of the large displacement Japanese muscle bike, the last era before emissions regulations and the shift towards sportier ergonomics transformed the category. The inline-4's character at part throttle is warm and responsive in a way that reveals the carburation, not with stumbles or flat spots, but with an organic breathing quality that electronic fuel injection smooths out because smoothness is the design goal. The ZRX owners who understand this are the ones who never sell. The ZRX1200R is the kind of machine that reminds you what was lost when the industry moved on. The machine coming up reminds you of something slightly different, specifically what it costs to have your valves checked every 2,000 miles on a competing machine versus every 26,000 on this one. Pushing toward number 7, Yamaha WR250R, 2008 to 2020. The WR250R is a unicorn, a 250cc dual sport with a valve clearance check interval of 26,000 miles. Most 250cc dirt bikes require valve attention every 2,000 miles. The WR250R's interval is 13 times longer. 250 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled single. The titanium intake valves are the part pointer, motorsport materials engineering that allows the engine to reach 10,000 revolutions per minute safely without the valve recession that destroys conventional aluminum valves at sustained high temperatures. This is aerospace-grade valve metallurgy in a machine that sold for under $7,000 new. Yamaha killed it in 2020 without a replacement. The backlash from the dual sport community has not subsided because nothing replaces what the WR250R was. $4,000 to $6,500 and climbing. Owners are hoarding them with the intensity reserved for vintage machines. For the off-road explorer who wants a lightweight trail weapon with professional-grade service intervals, the WR250R is now something you buy and protect. The gap the WR250R's discontinuation created has attracted significant attention from manufacturers who have so far failed to fill it. The CRF300L is newer but heavier and less capable at high RPM sustained use. The Beta X Trainer is track-focused rather than street-legal ADV. The Husqvarna 401 is heavier. The WR250R's specific combination of street-legal compliance, high RPM capability, and those 26,000-mile valve intervals has not been replicated. The market knows this. Yamaha discontinued the WR250R, and the dual sport community is still not over it. The machine just ahead was never discontinued. Its owners simply refused to upgrade because everything the newer GS added electronically came at the cost of something the older one had mechanically, and those owners calculated the trade-off and stayed put. Subscribe right now. We are heading into the top 6. And the machines from here are the ones owners describe as life decisions rather than purchases. Do not miss the top 3. Bearing down at number 6, BMW R1150 GS Adventure, 2002 to 2005. This was the last great BMW GS before CAN bus electrical systems transformed the machine into something requiring a laptop for roadside diagnosis. Owners keep the R1150GS Adventure specifically because of what arrived after it. 1,130 cubic centimeters air and oil cooled boxer twin. The telelever front suspension. A-arm is the part pointer, mechanically separating braking dive from suspension travel, allowing this 600-pound machine to stop without pitching forward aggressively into the dirt. A mechanical solution that BMW subsequently compromised by integrating electronic management into later generations. It is entirely repairable with a basic tool roll on the side of a trail in Mongolia. No laptop, no proprietary software, no error codes that only a dealer can clear. Owners refused to upgrade because everything the new GS added electronically came at the cost of something the old GS had mechanically, namely the ability to own and operate it without a dealer relationship. $4,500 to $7,000. For the hardcore overland traveler who views electronic aids as a liability, the R1150GS Adventure is the benchmark all successors are measured against. The R1150GS Adventure community has developed a detailed philosophy about why the electronics-free architecture matters. It is not mere technophobia, it is a considered position about the relationship between rider, machine, and environment. When the machine is transparent to the rider understands what is happening and can intervene. When electronics mediate that relationship, the rider is managing a system rather than riding a motorcycle. With the R1150GS owners who feel this distinction most strongly are the ones who refuse to upgrade. The R1150 GS Adventure is the machine its owners describe as the last BMW you can fix with your hands. The one coming up is the machine its owners describe as the last Japanese four-cylinder you never need to fix at all. Because the valves adjust themselves. every single time without being asked. Roaring into the top 5 at number 5, Honda CB750 Nighthawk, 1991 to 2003. The Honda CB750 Nighthawk is the motorcycle that mechanics hate. Not because it is poorly made, because it never gives them any work to do. 747 cubic centimeters air-cooled inline-4. The hydraulic valve lifters inside the chrome cylinder head cover are the part pointer, self-adjusting mechanisms that maintain correct valve clearance automatically using engine oil pressure. No shims, no feeler gauges. No inspection every 12,000 miles. You change the oil, you ride, that is it. Modern manufacturers abandoned hydraulic lifters to save weight and pass emissions tests. Every owner of a modern 4-cylinder pays for that decision through periodic valve services. Nighthawk owners pay nothing. Over 50,000 miles of commuting, that is over $1,500 in service fees that never appear on a receipt. $2,500 to $4,000. Extremely hard to find clean, most have been modified or worn out by owners who did not understand what they had. For the classic standard rider who wants vintage aesthetics without ever picking up a feeler gauge, finding a clean Nighthawk is one of the best mechanical decisions available. The irony of the Nighthawk's Keep Forever status is that it creates its own scarcity problem. Because owners keep them, the supply of clean examples on the used market is persistently low relative to demand. Riders who want one and have been patiently searching report waiting months or years for a clean, unmolested example to appear. The hydraulic valve lifter architecture that makes the machine so desirable also explains why previous owners kept it rather than selling it to the current buyers sooner. The Nighthawk stays in garages because it costs its owners almost nothing to run and gives back everything they put into it. The machine coming up stays in garages for the opposite reason. Owners are constantly spending money on it, rebuilding it, modifying it, and still refusing to sell it because the FXR is the Harley-Davidson that actually handles, and there is no substitute for that. Charging into number 4, Harley-Davidson FXR, 1982 to 1994. Ask any hardcore Harley builder what the greatest handling chassis out of Milwaukee is. Every single one gives you the same answer. The FXR, 1,340 cubic centimeters, 82 cubic inch, air-cooled Evolution, V-twin. The triangular side frame section is the part pointer, a rigid rubber-mounted frame co-engineered with a young Eric Buell to isolate engine vibration while keeping the chassis stiff in corners. The rubber mounting means the Evo's character comes through without teeth-rattling harshness. The FXR handles curves like a motorcycle significantly lighter than it is. A technical achievement. Harley has never quite reproduced since, which is why FXR owners never sell. The Evolution engine is legendarily rebuildable, deeply understood, with an aftermarket so extensive that a complete engine rebuild is a driveway project. $10,000 to $16,000 and up. Fiercely hoarded. Clean examples sell within hours of listing. For the American V-twin purist who actually wants to drag a knee in the canyons without sacrificing the Harley rumble, the FXR is the machine Harley built once and never quite built again. The FXR's cult status has grown continuously since production ended in 1994, the opposite trajectory from most discontinued models. The reason is comparative. Every Harley that came after was evaluated against the FXR and found wanting in handling terms. The Dyna was close but not the same. The Softail was different. Nothing was the FXR. 30 years of riders discovering this through direct experience has converted the FXR from a discontinued model into an active benchmark. The FXR is kept because it is a Harley that corners. And once you know what that feels like, you stop wanting anything else. The machine just ahead is kept for a reason that the SV650 community has turned into something close to doctrine. If you sell it, you will buy another one within 5 years. They have tested this. The data is consistent. So close at number 3, Suzuki SV650, Gen 2, 2003 to 2009. There is a saying in the SV community, if you sell your SV650, you will buy another one within 5 years. It is repeated often enough that it has the status of a law rather than an observation. 645 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled 90-degree V-twin. The aggressively angular aluminum truss frame is the part pointer, incredibly rigid for its price class, making the bike handle far better than its budget origins suggest. The second generation SV refined the first generation's formula and produced a machine that experienced riders describe as essentially perfect for its purpose. It is reliable. It sounds incredible with a slip-on exhaust. It handles well enough to embarrass 1,000 cubic centimeters superbikes on tight tracks. Forgiving enough for beginners, engaging enough that experts never outgrow it. The 90-degree V-twin delivers torquey, mechanical soul that modern parallel twins optimized for smooth power delivery have deliberately engineered away. $2,500 to $4,500. For anyone, first bike, second bike, track bike, forever bike, the SV650 Gen 2 is the correct answer. What the SV650 Gen 2 does that no direct rival successfully replicates is provide a consistent experience across all skill levels without patronizing any of them. Beginners find it forgiving. Intermediates find it educational. Experts find it entertaining. Track riders find it capable. Touring riders find it adequate. The machine does not transform for different riders. It reveals different things about itself to different skill levels, which is the mark of exceptional design. The Keep Forever rate reflects this. The SV650 is the answer to almost every motorcycle question, regardless of skill level. The machine coming up answers a different question entirely. Specifically, what happens when you want massive, effortless torque, a legendary engine block, and the kind of ownership cost that makes you feel slightly smug at the fuel station. And up at number 2, Suzuki Bandit 1200, 1996 to 2005. Long before the term hooligan bike was coined, Suzuki built an air-cooled muscle machine that delivered cheap, effortless torque with zero pretension and a legendary engine block that the tuning community has exploited for 30 years. 1,157 cubic centimeters air and oil cooled inline 4. The heavily finned Sachs engine block is the part pointer, Suzuki's advanced cooling system using massive volumes of oil to cool the engine instead of heavy radiators, keeping the weight down and the character visceral. The Bandit engine is legendary in the tuning community. You can strap a turbo to it, run it down a drag strip, or commute on it for 100,000 miles. Owners keep them because they deliver massive torque and genuine reliability for practically zero money. $2,500 to $4,000. Hard to find clean, many have been heavily modified or street fightered. For the budget hot rodder who wants big bore Japanese muscle without superbike insurance premiums, the Bandit is the foundation. The Bandit 1200 is the machine budget hot rodders keep forever because it survives everything they throw at it. The machine at the top of this list is the one police departments across the United States chose for high-speed pursuit work, which is either the best possible endorsement for reliability or a very unusual way to conduct a product review, depending on your perspective. And saving the absolute best for number 1, Yamaha FJR 1300, 2003 to 2023. When law enforcement agencies across the Europe and UK needed motorcycles for high-speed pursuit work, a use case that demands absolute mechanical reliability under extreme sustained stress, many of them chose the Yamaha FJR1300. That single fact is the machine's most compelling keep forever credential. 1,298 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled inline 4. The massive enclosed shaft drive housing is the part pointer, requiring nothing more than a gear oil change every 10,000 miles, eliminating chain maintenance entirely. The engine is deliberately unstressed for its displacement, producing its power at low RPM, where components endure minimal thermal and mechanical stress over the long term. Owners routinely push these past 200,000 miles. Not occasionally, routinely. The FJR has maintained a 2-decade production run with minimal changes because nothing needed changing. The architecture was correct from the beginning. $4,500 to $12,000 depending on generation. Owners rarely sell their high-mileage examples because the machines are still running, which is the entire point. The FJR1300 is the machine that made police departments and hypercommuters alike reach the same conclusion. When you need the absolute confidence that the machine will perform and never fail, this is the purchase. It is not the most characterful motorcycle on this list. It is the most trustworthy. And in the end, that is the foundation of every Keep Forever decision. 20 machines. 20 Keep Forever decisions that thousands of owners have already made and never regretted. Click the video on your screen right now to continue the ride.